right, I am going to do a chatty flip through video of my holiday joy journal. My lighting is kind of iffy, so hopefully this works. I'm going to try to do this in one take, and if I misspeak or whatever, I'm just going to keep going. So here we go. This is it was an old book that I pulled the paper out and painted the cover. I just had a lot of fun. This binding is a really simple one where I just tied the signatures in with these ribbons and the bells. The bells were a cute idea, but I wish I'd waited until after it was all done because they were a pain in the butt to work with. The book obviously doesn't really want to sit flat with them there. One of the reasons I like this binding is that it makes it really easy to pull pages in and out if you want to add things or take them out or work on them separately, although mostly I worked in the book. Although having talked about how annoying the bells were, it would have made sense to pull more out. So anyway, I did start this back in November when I was getting ready to work on the Holiday Flair class with Mindy Lacefield, and this is one of her stickers. This was kind of the vague idea of a color scheme that I wanted to work with. I put a whole bunch of different kinds of papers in this book. The first one here is canvas paper. It was just like a cheap pad from Target. So I just started making art, and my whole point with this book was trying to find and make some joy for the holidays for myself. The back side of the canvas paper was a little bit of a pain in the butt to work with, and I really kind of regretted trying to paint directly on it. I ended up covering it in most of the the subsequent pages. So this was just my kind of list of the things that I was kind of thinking about working on. I did not do most of them. Mostly I did Holiday Flair. I did a lot of Carved December, but not necessarily in this book. I ended up not doing anything from the Walk in the Park Christmas or the Zest class or the Skillshare class. I did do something from each of James Burke's Merry Mixed Media classes, and I did finish Keisha's Advent calendar. And I will post links to everything in the description. This was from James Burke's mixed media class from this year. Candy canes, this was a lot of fun to do. This was a printable, I believe, from the Art Journaling the Magic's Happy Place, probably from last May, I think, around the May the 4th time. I'm not remembering who made them, but I will try to put that in the description. This was the first lesson from Mindy Lacefield's Holiday Flair class, and this was a lot of fun. All of these snowmen were done with my left hand. I am very right-handed, so it was a lot of fun to do nearly all of the work with my right hand, or rather my left hand. It was mostly done with acrylic paint and then oil crayons, and you can see I've got a bunch of transfer, but I'm okay with that. And then I used it to do some journaling. This was another lesson from her class, a cute little elf. I just really had a lot of fun with her class, and of course spattering is always great. Most of the painting was done with my right hand, but I did write her name with my left hand. These trees were from James Burke's class. I don't remember if that was this year's or one of the previous ones, but I used washi tape, and there was a whole bunch of different techniques, just using different kinds of materials to make the trees. I also got my Sparkle Pop pens, which are a lot of fun, and they are water soluble, so I just was playing with those there, and they look different on light versus dark. There's some more trees from his Merry Mixed Media class. In this page, I had just made myself some journaling spots, and you'll notice that this book is completely out of order. I had made this page probably back on November 24th, doing all the doodling and painting, whatever, and then came back and did the journaling on December 24th. I made myself a list of things that I might want to work on for Carved December, and I checked a few of them off. This month was the Get Messy Art Journaling Community's season of finishing, and rather than try to make a separate book, I incorporated some of those ideas into this book. I also made myself a list of things I wanted to try to finish this month, and I did a pretty good job on it. Two of them, saying I'm going to do things but never doing them, and letting my fear have too much say about my art, definitely works in progress, but I do feel like I made progress this month. This was just I think it's the back of canvas paper, so I put down a dictionary page, and I think that the prompt here was Keisha Avery's Advent class talking about guilty pleasures, maybe? I might be making that up. But anyway, my whole point was that I don't like the idea of calling something a guilty pleasure. If you enjoy it, if it brings you joy, then why do you feel like you're wasting time? Actually, I think it was wasting time was the actual prompt. This is another Christmas tree. This one was just a picture I saw on Pinterest, and I decided to kind of play with that idea because I love dots. And then I filled it up with the letter stamps that I made. We had a big snow on December 12th, and so Mark and I made him go out and make snowmen with me. I wanted to make one, and he made a second, and then we put snow on the top of this little tree stump to make a little reindeer. So that was a lot of fun. This gingerbread girl was another Mindy Lacefield holiday flair lesson. This was just kind of a quick staple collage and some journaling about getting ready for Christmas. I did nearly all my Christmas shopping online, and I probably overspent, but we had a good time, and I think everybody liked what they got. This was from Holiday Flair. This is, and I'm sorry, Jenny, I can't remember Jenny's last name, but I will post a link. This was from her lesson, making really cute characters. She has a really cute style with very flat, opaque painting of her characters, and the whole idea was making the character as cute as possible with a big head, and making the body and accessories small. Excuse me. This is another quick collage on the back of canvas paper. Again, I put down another piece of dictionary paper and just put together. This quote kind of fell out of a pile of paper like it was trying to get my attention, so I included it. I made snowmen. I have the original snowman later in the book, but I wanted to make snowmen for my coworkers, and so this Wonder Woman snow person was my test for one of my coworkers. And then later I had this idea for a Princess Leia one, and so she went in my book too, of course, with an R2-D2 as well. This was another prompt from Keisha Avery's Advent class, where we were to pick a color and then work on finding some different color schemes using that. I keep saying red is my favorite color, but this fluorescent pink, this is actually opera gouache from its Holbein acrylic gouache, is I use it a lot, and obviously in this book is very pink. So I think I have two favorites. This is based on an illustration by Mary Blair. This is actually kind of basically just a copy. I didn't try to totally make it my own. I was just trying to see what I could do. I really, really love Mary Blair's work, and I am planning to do some more artist studies of her going forward. So this was that original snowman from Mindy's class that I did, and I just loved him. I loved the idea of putting down all those dark colors and then putting the white over, and that's what gives it the dimension. Just another journaling page. I had spattered paint on this side, and I drew a bunch of little tiny snowmen and did some more journaling. This is another lesson from James Burke's Merry Mixed Media from this year, the Cindy Lou Who. She was a lot of fun to do all that hair. And then I had made myself this little journaling page. This is actually cut out of sticker paper, the holly and the bows, the holly leaves, and then I did some journaling. This, again, is another James Burke idea, the little sweaters made out of washi tape and some journaling. And then this blind contour selfie. I was just trying to fill up pages and thought, well, I haven't done one of those, so I stuck one in. I did pretty good on the eyes and the glasses. My chin's a little big, though, so not thrilled with that. This was, again, washi tape with James Burke doing Christmas trees. And he did his directly on the page and used an X-Acto knife to cut the trees down. I did mine on separate paper so that I could have white behind them, knowing that I was going to put this on the brown paper. And some more journaling, this time talking about 2020. And I was trying to keep all of the yuck out of my book, but I really felt like I needed to include some stuff about 2020 and COVID lockdowns and the derecho that we had here in Iowa, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is just a page where I stuck down a whole bunch of stickers and tags that I got. This was a little free little zine that was offered by Carolyn. It's Atelier Carolyn, I think, on Instagram, and I again will include a link or a tag or whatever. Another page where I just sat down and started painting. I think there's dictionary paper in there, and then my stamps again. This is just a little envelope. There's an envelope in there, and then I covered it with some paper that I had dyed, and I had one of those sweaters left over. And then here I included just a little note and the packaging from the really nice brushes that Santa got me for Christmas this year. This was a prompt from Keisha's class where I don't remember what the exact prompt was, but we were supposed to use I think we were supposed to use the colors of something that we love, and I chose to use the colors of my cats. Hobbs is an orange guy, and then Sally's gray and white, and of course they both have a lot of pink. And I included some lines that indicate the scratch marks that I got when I got in the way of her claws one day. This is another envelope where I wrote myself a letter about changing things and goals and things that I hope for in the future. And of course, it's if you change nothing, nothing changes. Another page where I was using some stamps that I had made previously. And again, that intuitive collage and paint and mark making, just putting down color. You can see I use circles a lot in my work. I use dots. I really like the lines. I think there's China markers there, paint, obviously, Posca paint pens. I believe that this elf and this snow girl were both from James Burke's Mary Mix Media Zoom on, I think it was December 6th, or it was that weekend. It was a lot of fun to do, and it was just such a cute little idea, and then the snowmen. And then I made these little stickers and then made this kind of a daily journaling, just a single line. And that was another Keisha Avery prompt. I didn't leave myself much room, so there was it had to be really short. And I kind of enjoyed that list journaling. I might try that going forward in another format. Don't get your tinsel in a tangle. Again, trying to keep most of the Joy Sucks stuff out of my book, but blocking and unfriending people who had their tinsel tangled this year was huge. Was huge for my mental health. I am spending very little time on Facebook, trying to avoid all of a lot of things that I won't go into. This is a sticker from Mindy Lacefield, and I kind of feel bad putting him on this page, but I kind of felt like he went with, the color scheme and whatever. Of course, then I put red and white in here, and I have censored this tag because, dear 2020, that's what I think of you. You can go away. I will take my censoring off, and then the other tag just says thank you. I just felt like that needed to be in there somewhere. This is, I bought myself from Target these little plush reindeer ornaments, and I have them hanging above my desk. I just thought they were the cutest things, and so then I was looking for something to fill and decided to paint them. I did make a mistake. It's my own interpretation. Only the red one has a red nose. The rest of them actually have noses that match, but I had red paint on my pen, or my brush, so I went with it. This is some pictures from Christmas Day and maybe the day after. We did kind of a Charlie Brown Christmas tree this year. It's pretty pathetic looking, and it only had lights on it, but with cats and one of them being a kitten, we just decided, we haven't put up a tree in like 4 years now. Partly because we haven't been here for a couple of years for Christmas. We've been skiing, but also because of cats. And she was in heaven playing with the paper. It was hilarious. This was an elf that I decided to paint in that same style as that James Burke class or the Zoom. I just thought they were so cute. Oh, and we had been challenged by a teacher at school to for like a creativity challenge to do something with a Christmas tree. So that was my interpretation. And another journaling page using a stamp I'd made last year. This was another lesson from Mindy Lacefield doing the gingerbread house. I really procrastinated on that one, and I don't know why. I even had drawn it out and started painting it and then set it aside. It's not my best work. I was kind of rushing and I made kind of a mess, but I like it. It turned out okay. I really like the lavender sky too. So then this one is another one where I just started painting kind of that intuitive mark making. I ended up with holly leaves. I kind of forgot that the brush marker I used was not water soluble, so then it kind of muddied it. And I thought it kind of felt like it went with this whole idea that it's okay if you don't have a holly jolly Christmas. And this note down here, just I know you're exhausted and you need a break. And of course I was partly talking to myself, that it was important to stay hydrated and take care of myself, wearing masks and to not doom scroll, which is really hard to do, but I'm working on it. Another lesson from Mindy Lacefield, just making all kinds of different hats. This one was mostly actually watercolor pencil that then I activated with water and then added like my sparkle pot pens to give it a little whatever. Another intuitive painting page. My sister decided to challenge me using our watches to an activity competition, and so decided I'd better get my jingle on and try to beat her. And I did the first one. We're on our second one, and I haven't even looked. I'm sure she's beating me this time because I have been very sedentary. This was another advent calendar prompt from Keisha Avery, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact prompt, but it resulted in me doing kind of a big collage, like a vision board kind of a thing of me and what's in my brain and what I'm thinking about, what's going on in there. So lots of different stickers from Art Journaling the Magic or Mindy Lacefield. Shay gave me some paper that she had created, so I stuck some of that in. Just some different things that I found online, my kind of overall color scheme that I'm going on with about everything I do. So that's what that one was. This is just kind of a filler because I really wanted to fill this journal, so I went looking for mid-century modern, and this was like a vintage card from the 50s. This one is just painted blocks of color and turned them into Christmas wrapping. It's based on a post that I saw from somebody on Instagram. Of course, I can't remember who at the moment. This was a printable from Art Journaling the Magic, or from the Walk in the Park Christmas class, and I just stuck the whole piece in just to fill that page up. This was one of the art holiday flair class lessons that I again kind of avoided because I was scared of doing it. It is based on Mary Blair's Juice Girl illustration, and we did holiday Juice Girls. I was pretty pleased with how she turned out. I think she's kind of cute. This was me on Christmas Day playing with my brand new brushes and just making a rainbow out of kind of my favorite colors, and using my stamps, my letter stamps. This was a color meditation using my new watercolors from some handmade watercolors, and they're all sparkly, and I just started making circles, and then I decided to go back and turn them all into ornaments, and I kind of regretted how many I had done, but I managed to fill them all up. Some of them with kind of topical, some of them just with shapes and whatever, just trying to fill them up. This was the snowman. This was actually some packaging, and then I went looking for some words to put on it, and I found this little sticker in my stash. It says, "His heart full of bright hopes." And another page where I was just starting to paint and put color down, and I started making these circles as kind of little backgrounds, and I was reminded of these little face drawings I had done one day, and so I pulled them out because they were all different emotions, and it's okay to feel bad or to feel good, and it's okay even if other people have it worse for you to feel bad, and that's kind of the message there. This was another little free downloadable that I found when I was looking for things just to fill up with. I saw a collage spread, and it was little tiny pieces, much tinier than what I did here, and I just thought it was really cool. And so I have a container right next to my desk that has bits of paper that were too small to file in my colored folders, colored paper folders, but then also I felt like they were too big to throw away. And so I just started pulling and just started gluing. I started ripping them into smaller pieces and started gluing them down, and this is what I ended up with. The only added marks, most of the marks were on the pages already. The only added marks were some shiny, some dots, some little hash marks, and then I have some white that I added. And then, of course, I don't feel like any journal is complete without a quote from Mary Oliver. And I felt like I was trying to remind myself to create like this, to create with joy and not just breathe a little and call it enough. And then yesterday I made myself a Happy New Year page as the final page. And then I had stuck this little envelope in here to hold some things so that they wouldn't get lost. And now that I have used all of this up, I needed something to put in there. So I wrote a note to my Holiday Joy Journal with another one of those little girls that I kind of feel like is kind of like my avatar almost, that I had drawn the other day, and thanking my Joy Journal for what a delight it was to work in this season. I really feel like I made a lot of really great art in this book. It is super chunky. I really love how it turned out. And I am really appreciative of everybody that followed along with my journal this month and my progress and encouraged me. And I really feel like I made a lot of good memories with this book, and hope to carry that joy into the new year, as that is the word I've picked for my word for 2021. So thanks for following along on this chatty video, and I will have links to the tutorials and places that I found inspiration in the description. And thank you, and I guess that's it.